I was a super active child, never could sit still for long, and that is what I think brought me into riding motorcycles and having fun with vehicles. I was in a motorcycle accident in 2011. I was struck by a car on my left hand side. The leg that I had after my accident was taking the life out of the rest of my body. There were so many surgeries involved in it. There was so many things that were not right with it. There was nerve pain, neuroma. There were bones that weren't where they were supposed to be, and constant swelling and pain. For me, when it became time to really start considering the amputation process, I was already about 9 years into limb salvage. It was an easy decision to make because I knew it needed to be made. I was prepared for it. I was ready for it, and my body was ready for it. So my surgery was August 14th, 2020. And I remember waking up from the surgery, and the first thing I asked the nurse that was standing next to me is, I said, "Is it gone?" And then I lifted my leg up to look down, and it was gone. And it was the biggest weight lifted off my shoulders that I think I've ever had in my life. And I looked at my recovery not as an inconvenience or anything like that, but it's a project. It was a project that I needed to make as good as I could and master. You have to go at the pace of your body and not the pace of your mind. And to get both of those to match up is can be stressful. You have to learn great patience, which I had zero of before my surgery, and I think I'm probably one of the most patient people on the planet. So it comes from the experience you go through. So it was around December I actually started to walk fairly problem free, which is a little longer than people expect. But I had wound healing complications. So the biggest problem with that was it was delaying my prosthetic success. I went back to Mass General. They opened up the distal end of my residual limb and fixed a little piece of bone and fixed the area that was not still very viable and healing. And I want to say within like 2 months after that, I was running. It's interesting when you put your first prosthetic on because after an amputation, your body is still kind of telling your mind that there's a leg there. There's been a leg from your hip down to your toes your entire life. I had not had a leg that long for a few months, and my body was basically used to having a shorter limb at that point. And then you go and you put a leg on, and then it's a foot and a half longer than what you're now used to again. So getting over that hurdle of being able to know how high to lift your knee when you're walking and going upstairs, downstairs, uneven terrain, that was the hardest part, but it's all with practice. I live on a third floor apartment. I have been there for years, and I live on a third floor apartment through my entire amputation process. So to go up and down 3 flights of stairs every time I need to go in and out of my house is kind of a pain, but it's a blessing because I am a master at stairs now. I was just looking to basically broaden my horizons with my activity. I'm looking to do long distance running and be, very active in my prosthetic. I knew that I was going to be more active in my prosthetic than probably 95% of other people in prosthetics. I've heard nothing but good things about Atlantic Pro Care, so I decided to make the phone call. I didn't know what to expect. You never do when you meet someone new, in any healthcare field, new doctor, new patient. It's always an awkward first meeting, but this wasn't. It was just like two friends sitting and talking about what's going on in life. And within I think a couple weeks, I had my first check socket slash test socket. Um, Transitioning out of my old socket into that socket, it took about a week, and I started walking around in it full time. And then we went to the co-poly, which I'm currently wearing now, and made a couple of adjustments throughout time on that as well. And it's an amazing fit. The way it holds me is something that I never thought I'd be able to achieve. So I'm able to do a lot more. am walking on uneven terrain that I have not walked on even since my accident back in 2011. My biggest, thing I can say to people is when you're having difficulties that don't seem like they're going to have an end, they're there. There's an end there.